So yeah, like I was saying, like it's not that long ago. It's only it's only been 400 or 500 years ago. So we've come a long way in terms of our technological advancement, etc. We've really grown exponentially in the last few hundred years, in particular. You know, and we've really come a long way in that regard. But you can still understand today why there's a lot of things, a lot of bad shit going on in the world today, because it's not that long ago that a lot of horrific stuff is happening for long periods of time. People are being treated inhumanely in all sorts of ways, and it's awful. So
It has done for centuries, but that's
of
what I
course,
think.
yeah.
A lot of it's hidden, and you don't know. I think we've struggled decade after decade after decade after decade. Right? It's sometimes like it has been peaceful for 100 years. Sometimes some people get their peace. Like this country, for instance, Great Britain's had its peaceful years. Through the centuries. Like sometimes for 100 years. But it doesn't last long. There's always war on the horizon from somewhere. All the time.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like getting worse and worse in a funny way. Where and you like I say, all these wars, you've got like the history of what happened in a kind of way. Do you know what I mean? When the Danes got sacked. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they got taken over. And all kinds of things gone on that you don't. A lot of people don't know about. Do you know what I mean? It's all hidden. But like today's world, it is quite. There's it's a noisy world we're living in. Basically, it's got noisier and noisier. If you ask me, it used to be quieter. I think the world when I was a child. And I think it's just getting noisier and noisier every year that goes by. Right way, and a little bit more dangerous in a funny way.
Yeah.
I think like for instance, when I was younger, I did see my uncle Angelo, who was Maltese.
Okay.
And I didn't really see many foreign people, to be honest with you. And now I grow up, today, like 40 years later, I look around, you know what I mean? It's packed, do you know what I mean? It's like they've shipped foreign people from all over the place, and it's like, I don't know, do you know what I mean? It's just like, lots more people living around me,
Yeah.
It's like 10 times more people than it used to be.
Yeah.
There weren't so many people when I was younger.
Yeah.
Especially a lot of foreign people, whatever. No, I've not got nothing against anyone. Do you know what I mean? I think we live in the same world.
Exactly.
I kind of like seeing multi-race getting on together. In harmony. It's nice.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah.
I mean, this country is full of different nationalities.
Oh, for sure. Right now, the UK is an ethnic melting pot, essentially, where there's so many ethnicities, so many people from different walks of life, different nationalities, different identities, different etc. And it's great,
Well, yeah, but some people don't like it. Do you know what I mean? It's
true, yeah.
And as I say, we got like different
opinions and
well, a little bit, and different habits, I suppose. Sometimes, But then when we live together, we kind of like learn from each other, and we get more modern together in a funny way, I mean, even our clothes today, you think like all the clothes that are worldwide, shoes and trainers and everything, I mean, 100 years ago, well, a few hundred years ago, go back in time, we didn't have machines to make clothes, We didn't have all this electronic machinery to do what we can do today, do you know what I mean? To make, and I think like people today, like myself for instance, I'm guilty of it, I've got so much, I've got a lot of clothes.
Yeah.
I think to myself, like, go back 200 years ago, I don't think people had a wardrobe. Do you know what I mean?
No, well, unless you were like obviously wealthy and whatever.
Well, apparently, like they brought in laws. This is like in this country. 400 years ago, maybe 500 years ago, you know, that if you're not sort of like royalty, you know, you weren't allowed to wear colours.
Okay.
You know, that's when when they first brought it out. You're only allowed to wear grey and all this. You know, and the clothing was also uncomfortable to wear.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It was like that. Do you know like that? Like the sacks they put like
like
potatoes
rough.
in?
Yeah, like rough, like cloth.
Yeah, like cloth, right? They had to wear cloth
Yeah.
like that. Can you imagine how uncomfortable that is?
That was
Do you know what I mean?
very rough material.
Then they had to sleep near the horses sometimes and things like that. You know, they were like animals, honestly, back then. You know, they had to sleep. You know, I was sort of watching this documentary and this guy saying, you know, sleep with the horses, but that's okay. The horse keeps me warm. You know, so at least I had a nice sleep. You know, you know, peasant's life. You know, it's I think like existence we're talking about, aren't we?
Yeah.
Do ghosts exist?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
I believe so. Yeah.
It's an interesting thing, isn't it? You know, like, if you see a ghost, how do you know it's not in your own imagination? Unless two people see it.
Yeah.
If two people witness it, it's a different story, really, isn't it? You know?
Yeah.
Oh, you know, like say we saw a ghost, and we told someone else that we know, and we said, look, we saw a ghost. They're more likely to believe us because there's two of us, you know. But you know, I think sometimes people imagine things.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
You know?
I think that happens too, but I think there's also some people out there that are able to see
Possible.
beyond, you know, beyond like more than the average person.
Connect like a medium.
Like a medium.
Connect with the spiritual
Yeah,
world.
that kind of thing. You know, able to see more than the average human being. You know.
But you think like the dimension that we're actually in, the stars, you know, the universe and this world, you know, everything. How incredible it is.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
You know, and then you think, oh, we're not here for long.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's not going to last forever. Nothing, you know, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. All good things come to an end.
Well, nothing, you know, nothing lasts forever, really, does it? Apart from the universe in a funny way, that kind of carries on, doesn't it?
That's it.
You know, I don't think that dies, does it? I can't see it dying, do you know what I mean?
No.
And you see anyone blowing it up, the universe, like making a bomb that blow it all up.
How you can you can't blow up the universe, mate.
They just can't do it. If you did blow it up, it would just go up in pieces again and fall into stars again, do you know what I mean? You just can't blow the stuff up.
It's impossible. How can you blow it? It's impossible.
You know,
the universe goes on forever. It's one of those things where there's so many different planetary systems and etc. out there, you mate. You know, it's unbelievable. You know, so.
Well, we're living here, aren't we?
Yeah.
We think.
We live in this star system, you know.
And you think there's got to be other existence out there.
Yeah.
You think how many living things there are actually living today on this earth. You know?
Yeah.
Including every fly, spider, everything, and a lot of things. I think.
Yeah.
A lot of things have actually had an experience. Actually, you know, being born and then dying. You know.
Yeah.
Which is a sad reality, I think, but it's a fact. You know, I think we just got to accept it. But I think like this is a magical existence. Okay, so at least we know it's true. You know, and it's happened. So why can't it happen again?
Yeah.
So it has happened once. It's, you know, and people say, oh, you can't come back once you die. That's impossible. But we've been born here.
Yeah.
You know, so miracles do exist.
Yeah.
This is a miracle.
Exactly.
I think.
So, I think it's possible, mate. I think the older I'm getting, the more I believe that reincarnation is a possible thing. You know.
I don't know about coming back to life on this.
I believe that kind of like through enlightenment, you know, is how we evolve. You know, the more enlightened you become, and then when your time does come and you do go on, I think sometimes people get trapped in like the reincarnation cycle. If you see what I mean, they didn't grow, or they didn't learn, or they didn't understand what they were supposed to learn here on Earth while they were here, and they kind of end up coming back here to learn, repeating the cycle of reincarnation. You know, I think so. That is probably possible.
It's an idea.
But I think the people who will really become enlightened and really understand life and understand what life's all about, and become fully in tune with themselves and the universe and nature, and really living, you know, a really authentic, you know, honest, pure life, if you see what I mean.
Do the right things.
And yeah, exactly. Just living a wholesome, righteous life, and, you know, living well, you know, just, you know, living natural, you know. I think those people who, you know, really enlightened and shit, I think that when those people end up passing, sometimes those people are so enlightened that they end up like almost like ascending to a different like consciousness, if you see what I mean, like ascending to a different, you know, a higher level of consciousness.
Well, it's an idea, you know, like
so if you see what I mean, you know. So
what you're sort of saying, you die from this world, and if you've been a beautiful person, basically, you have another life. Is that right?
No, I believe that
on
people.
This planet.
I believe that people who are really enlightened and shit end up not going through the reincarnation cycle. I believe they escape the reincarnation cycle. They are able to ascend to a higher level of consciousness. You know, maybe to a fourth dimensional consciousness, or a fifth dimensional consciousness, if you see what I mean. But I think some people get stuck in the reincarnation cycle, you know, you know, and they don't escape that, you know. So,
I like my existence to be beautiful and happy, and worth living.
That's it. You have to create your reality, your existence. You know, we are the author, or the painter, or the, you know,
your own life.
The sculptor. Yeah, of your own life. That's it.
I mean, I've personally, I've existed for 57 years now. So my existence is going to expire soon.
Oh, no, I don't think so, mate.
Well, no, it will though. You know, you think like the length of the universe. Like, so, you know, it's a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
You know, like, I already know how quickly time travels. You know, I know I can look at like something that happened in my childhood, something, you know, think about it, and it's like it happened yesterday. Yeah. It's the way memories work in a way. You know, it's like yesterday. Sometimes, you know, when you got married yesterday, or you know, you can look at it like a photograph, you know, and just put it in front of you, you know.
Yeah.
And as every year goes by, I'm going to experience more. You know, not like next year. A year's time from now, I'll be more experienced a little bit.
Yeah.
In different matters, you know, different things, and it's up to you where you kind of take your experiences, isn't it? I think. You know.
Yeah.
You can control your future existence.
Yeah.
You kind of learn from your past existence and what you've done wrong a little bit, and you know, you do get a little bit cleverer, basically. I think every year that goes by in life, you know, about yourself.
Yeah.
And understanding yourself, really, I think, and your existence, and understanding the world around you a bit more.
Yeah.
Why are we existing?
Yeah.
Why? Well, isn't it good? You know, I wouldn't not want it.
Yeah.
I mean, before we got here, yeah, and we were kind of like spiritual people before we got here, you know, and someone come up to us and said, do you want to experience on planet Earth, or do you want to go on Jupiter, or, do you know what I mean? And gave you a choice, and you look at it and you think, well, Earth looks nice, you know, it's got trees on it,
Yeah.
and butterflies and all that stuff, you know, birds, and you think, you know, I don't want to go on that one, you know, because I get burnt, you know, it's like sand on there, you know, there's no trees at all. You know, I mean, if you could choose your existence, you know, it'd be great.
But there's some people out there that believe that too, that believe that we do. There's some people who believe that people choose to come to Earth. Certain souls and stuff make the choice to come to Earth, you know, to experience, you know, the reality, you know, to experience the existence, you know, you know.
It'd be good that though, if you could choose what planet you're going to live on, you know. And then you had a photograph of this Earth.
Well, obviously, certain planets you couldn't live on, if you see what I mean. It's, you know.
But God sort of like showed you a film of Earth, what's it going to be like, and you said, do you want to live on there or do you want to live on this place? You know? Like different realities.
Yeah.
But apparently, a long time ago, I'm talking about like 4,000 years ago, there was a society or something, you know. It's quite big, you know. They were working together, and they kind of broke up, and the other one started dominating them, you know. Those people, you know, telling them what to do, you know. And then they had babies and all this, you know. And then those babies had babies, yeah. And eventually, those people kind of put those babies in different lands, on a different island.
Yeah.
And some children were put on volcanic islands where it was sort of like nothing there and fire. They could only feed off the fish, you know, things like that. Do you know what I mean? And they placed these different tribes in different places. Yeah, and give them different realities to live in.
Yeah.
Testing them.
Yeah.
This is true.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and this is kind of like how it kind of evolved. You know, the 12 tribes. You know. Into what we got today, do you know what I mean? But like I said, you know, you can exist in completely different planets, different realities.
Yeah.
In a kind of way. You know, like, I mean, I've really quite enjoyed living in this country. But it's starting to get tougher now.
Yeah.
Or whatever, something's happening, do you know what I mean? It's not as good as it used to be.
No.
Let's put it that way.
That's
You
for
know?
certain.
And as I say, things can exist. I think this country has been benefiting off other countries in a kind of way for many years, you know, getting rich.
Yeah.
And everyone's benefiting from it and getting rich.
Of course, yeah.
Living in like kings and queens almost, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, anyone can make a lot of money now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's generally, in all honesty, that's how a lot of empires were built throughout history. The same thing with the British Empire and every other, pretty much a lot of other empires, that's what they did. They literally overthrew other populations and civilizations, travelled and, took their land and took their possessions and took all the things that were, considered valuable and etc. and the people and, etc. It's happened throughout history, throughout human history for a very, very long time. That's what people did. People, they overthrew and
It's really sad. Like a lot of mothers or whatever have children, but they're living in poverty. And they got their hope because they're a certain person. Do you know what I mean? A certain religion or something.
Most empires are built on the back of violence, aren't they?
Yeah.
On the back of. It's not on the back of anything really good, really. It's not, they, become powerful and strong, and because they were, aggressive,
Anarchy against this. It is anarchy against the authorities, really. Nobody wants to be controlled. Basically, like I say, clocks.
Well, human beings, we aren't designed to be controlled. We're not designed to be controlled.
But we are. That's the problem.
No, but we are. No, we are. But a human being. That's why, like you said, revolts end up happening throughout human history at all different points as well. Throughout human history, people have banded together and revolted because they got tired of their conditions, tired of their way of life, tired of whatever. That's always been the case. People have always revolted, always gone against the grain. Trying to be free, quote unquote. But yeah. But yeah, it's a wonderful existence. The world. Having life is a double-edged sword. Sometimes you think to yourself, life is such a great thing, such a blessing, such a wonderful thing to have. And then really sit down and you really analyse the world and the way the world is today, and like the fact that we just live in a world that there's so much shit going on. There's so much violence, so much. Negative stuff happening day in, day out, all across the world, in different places, and you just think to yourself, like, you're trying to, you would have thought that after all these years in human history that we would be able to figure out a way where we can all live together and kind of live in peace and in harmony and and be able to figure shit out together, you know, and you know, imagine if people were imagine instead of all the war and all the division and everything that's going on today in the world, imagine if people were all, like, everyone was an ally to each other and people could, you know, people work together, you know. We'd be even further than we are now today, you know, we'd be even further technologically, scientifically, medicinally, financially, etc. Like, you know, we would be much more advanced, you know, but like you said earlier, so a lot of it's to do with division, you know, people are divided, you know, people, they use all forms of different ways and means to divide people and keep them kind of like opposed to each other and not working together and not, you know, focused on each other instead of the real problem, the real enemy, the real, you know, thing that's, you know, making the, you know, the reason the world is the way it is today, you know. So yeah, you know, but if people did work together, mate, like, we would be so, you know, so much even more advanced today, you know, we would be, imagine if all different countries that had different medicinal breakthroughs throughout the world were all working together. So as soon as they were doing some kind of scientific experiments or whatever, and they created some kind of medicine that was able to heal something that they weren't able to figure out before, then this country could say, listen, we've actually had a, you know, we've had a breakthrough in this medicinal field, and you know, we've created this thing, and it's been on trial now for the last couple of years, and we've seen nothing but positive results from it, you know what I mean, with very little side effects, and it's helping people to, you know, deal with this illness or this disease or whatever. Then, you know, we can come to an agreement to, you know, to share this medicine somehow, this, you know, to, you know, for the patrons of your country to benefit from it, you know, if you see what I mean. So just a small example, you know, but if we work together, you know, working together is always better than working.
We do work together in a funny way, you know.
Well, people tend to only work together when they have to.
Mm-hmm.
When they have to, when they're forced to.